Hello everyone, the coding kid back here. So today I'm going to make an in-depth video on how to debug your program. So here, as you can see, I have a file called main.py in a folder called debugging tutorial. As you can see, it's a Python file. So here I have a few variables where you take input and you print out variables, and you can see I have a simple function that returns the power, like x to the power of y. And here I have more inputs and outputs, and then I use the function here. So then I can just do result, and then I just do all this. Alright, so to debug, what you're gonna want to do is you want to click this debug icon right here. Click run and debug. So this is always the same for almost all programming languages except for C++, where you have to do a little bit of configuration. I will link that video in the top left, right. I don't know where it is. I'll link it as a card. All right, so now we're just gonna click run and debug. As you can see, there's a bunch of options right now. We're just debugging Python files. Just click Python file. All right, so it's starting up everything. All right, there you go. It stops at the breakpoint. So a breakpoint is where your debugger will stop. Hence the name breakpoint. So you just put a breakpoint by just clicking there. But right now, if I put a breakpoint, it won't do anything because I already started debugging. So the basic of debugging is this thing right here, this step over or F10. So this is what you'll be using most of the time to move over, to step to the next step over this function, to step over this and move to the next one. So as we stop right here, so I'm going to step over, or I'm going to use function F10, and as you can see, it says enter your name on the terminal screen. I'm going to enter my name, the coding kid. As you can see, it automatically moves to the next line. So now what we have to do is just step over it, and it just prints out the name, the coding kid. So let's say we want to move to the next breakpoint. Let's say we don't want to step over two lines. Let's say we're too lazy to step over 2 lines. So what we can do is we can click this continue button, which basically moves you from whatever line you're on. It can be on a breakpoint line or a line without a breakpoint. It just moves the program to wherever the next breakpoint is. So if we press continue, it will move us to line 8. And first we have to input a number. So as you can see, it skipped this input. So we need to input the number. Let's do 8. As you can see, it popped up here, x equals 8, and it just brought us this because we did continue. Alright, now we'll just step over a few functions. Let's just step over. As you can see, I have a function there. It just steps over because we don't call that function yet. So we can just do that. We can enter a number. Let's enter a number. Let's do 2. Yeah, it just pops up there. Yeah, it becomes an integer now. Same thing here. Let's do 5. It changes that into an integer. So now we're at a function call. So here's where the next two commands come. Step into and step out of. Step into and step out. So what step into does, it just steps into the function. It steps into the definition of the function. So here, since we're at a function call, if you press step into, it will take us to the function right there. So here it goes into the locals of the function, which are the local variables x and y. So here we return x to the power of y. 2 to the power of 5 is 32 because we're big brain. So now if we just press step over, it will bring us back and result equals 32. But I want to show you the next function. So let's step into our function. Let's just stop this program, and let's debug this again. I'm gonna show you what this button, the step out of button, does. So we'll just move. Let's just enter our name. Just give it a name, and let's enter a number. Let's say 8. So let's just skip through all of this. Let's do 2 again. Enter another number. Let's do 3 now. So let's say I want to let's step into the function. Let's say I don't really care what this function does. So let's say I just want to forget about this function for now. I don't care what it does. I just want to see the value. What you can do is just click step out, and we'll go back to the function call where it originally was. So now it'll just have, and now if we just step over this line, it brings the result as 8. And our yes and 2 to the power of 3 is 8, because we're big brain again. Alright, result equals to int result, print result. So now let's say I didn't want to step over this line. Let's say there was something wrong here, alright? So what I can do is I can click this stop button or shift F5. And there you go, I click shift F5 and that just stopped the debugging program. There's one more command that I need to show you. So let's just run this again. Just do all that. Just enter a name. Okay, just do that. Alright, let's say I don't let's just enter a number. Alright, so let's say I did not see what happened. Let's say I went too fast, or I accidentally clicked this continue button. So what you can do is just do restart or shift command F5. I'm going to click restart, and it'll just restart the program, and it goes back to our first breakpoint. And we can just go through this again. I'm not really going to go through it. And that's it for this video. I hope this got you into debugging or showed you what debugging is. And I hope people who watch this video will use debugging in their projects or in competitive programming to make them more productive. Have a great day, folks.